Hey YouTube, it's Richard with Through the Haze Survival. So today I'm going to be covering something that everyone loves, food, and how it relates in preparedness and things like that. Like I said in my last video talking about freeze-dried and MREs and canned food, there's all kinds of things that you can get. Do what's best for you and your family and what will fit in your budget without putting you into the poorhouse. And I'm going to be using the Dare to Prepare book to discuss some canned food today, because it goes over all of the dates and how to read the date codes and all of that stuff, and it gives their shelf life as well. So first I want to talk about my personal favorite, and that's freeze-dried food. This is Mountain House. I mean, you see it everywhere, Walmart, Kmart, whatever big box store you go to. It's really good food, it's really tasty, really easy to prepare. There's all kinds of freeze-dried food out there. A lot of the ones that you can buy in bulk is freeze-dried food. Taste seems to be a factor. Some are better than others. I found Mountain House right now to be the best that I've tasted so far. This is the chili mac with beef, and it's real beef in there. It's not, you know, like soy protein crumble or something like that. And the thing with freeze-dried food is that even though it's been freeze-dried, it's been, you know, preserved for 25 years is what this will last, it retains all of its nutritional value, whereas dehydrating food actually pulls some of the nutrients out of the food. So this is still as nutrient dense as it was when it was first freeze-dried. Now, I mean, it's already prepared food, so you know, and it's very light too. I mean, this is weighs a couple ounces, but it's, like I said, it's already prepared. All you need is water. That's a big thing. So you'd have to store extra water to be able to prepare this. You know, it's like 12 ounces, right around 12 ounces. This one is 2 cups of boiling water. Some of them take more, some of them take less. The turkey and what was it? Turkey and stuffing one that I had. I showed it on my Instagram, I think, a while ago. It was really good. That was really tasty. And I mean, it's, you know, enough to serve one person, but I mean, I did, my wife and 2 of the kids, and they were pretty full after eating this. With freeze drying too, just like dehydrating, you can do it at home. Freeze dryers are pretty expensive. It would be an investment. They're over $2,000. Harvest Right makes a good one. And then they also have a giveaway too, where you can put in and they'll, you know, you have a chance of winning one of their small freeze dryers. But with freeze drying, you can freeze dry everything. I mean, ice cream and cheeseburgers and whatever you want to freeze dry. And you just reconstitute it with water, or you can eat it, you know, as is. And it tastes the same, doesn't lose any of its nutrients. So if you're into nutrient-dense food like I am, with Wise Traditions, you can look that up. Then, you know, your grass-fed beef with all the fat and everything can be freeze-dried, and you pull it out later to prepare later on to add to your food, or, you know, make a cheeseburger or whatever. But it stores for 25 years, and that's the big deal. Whereas dehydrated food, it does not have the same shelf life. And because some of it still contains a little bit of water, it can grow mold depending on how you store it. If you store it in airtight containers and stuff, then you should be okay. But freeze-dried food for me is like #1. It's more expensive, but the taste is better. The nutrients are there. It's lightweight. It doesn't take up much space. You know, it just takes water. That's the big negative to it. So next we'll talk about MREs. I have a couple different ones here. I have just the regular military one, and then I have APAC Ready Meal, which is it's pretty similar to the military one. It's just more civilian markets. This is pasta with garden vegetables and tomato sauce. So this would probably be a vegetarian one. Usually they come with a cracker and everything else in there. This one's already open. I don't think I've eaten anything out of this one, but we have a brownie. This is the heater, the MRE heater. You pour water up to this line, and you kind of shake it up. You put your main meal in here, and then it'll heat up through chemical reaction. You need to do it in a well-ventilated area because it does off-put toxic gas. Cheese spread with jalapenos. What I found is these MREs are a couple years old now, and the cheese spread is pretty nasty. The cheese spread with jalapeno was my favorite in the military. It's pretty much everyone in the military's favorite. But after a while, if I opened this up and squeezed it out, it'd be a lot of grease, and then the cheese is all coagulated, and it's pretty gross and unappetizing. You could probably still eat it in a pinch. I probably would, but I don't have to, so I'm not going to. Irish cream cappuccino, instant powder. Add your water, shake it up inside of here, and then you drink it out of the pouch. The pouch has a little Ziploc top up there. Tortillas. This is the chicken fajita meal, by the way. Your chicken fajita white meat is right here, and then this one is your refried beans. Taste. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. It really depends. I've had some really bad ones before. Oh yeah, and here there's also a little packet that has a little bit of toilet paper and a few other things, drink mix and stuff. And then it always comes with a pretty thick, heavy-duty MRE spoon. Like I said, some of them are appetizing, some of them have good stuff in them. Others, I mean, you eat parts and pieces of it and you throw the main meal away because some of them are pretty gross. This one has Skittles in it. It's got a few other things. It's pretty much similar to this one over here, just different packaging. These will keep for a couple of years and that's it. I mean, they don't keep for as long as like dehydrated or freeze-dried food do. So canned food. Canned food is something that you can pick up from every grocery store anywhere in the world, and you know, everything from fish to fruit to all your beans and meats, and I mean everything. Sorry for the cut. So canned food does not always have the highest quality, you know, vegetables and everything in here, but it's cheap and it stores well. This will store for about 2 years. So this is ConAgra brand, and I can look here in the Dare to Prepare book under ConAgra foods, and it lists, you know, all the labels that it could be under, and it shows what the date code is, you know, what plant, month, and a year, and then it shows shelf life of 2 years. So this was 2017, so it's good till September of this year. So that's something to keep in mind, rotating your stock. You know, put this in the back, and then as you eat your chili, you know, move the cans forward until this becomes the front one. Then you eat this one and you replace them as you eat them. So that way you've always got, you know, somewhat fresh food in the back. Even though it says 2 years, sometimes some of them you can eat them. Some of them, though, you will develop bacteria inside of the can and you can get very, very sick off of them. So it's a good idea to check your sources, and then, you know, look at the history of the company, see if they've had any history of bacteria growing in the cans, and then figure out what works for you and your family. And again, if you're going to buy canned food, buy food that you actually eat or is actually desirable to you. Don't buy things that you don't eat on a regular basis because it's going to go to waste. Another thing is honey. Honey is good for, wounds, and it's good for sicknesses and everything else. And with honey, this is some Texas honey, it doesn't go bad, never goes bad. If it crystallizes, you stick it in a pot of boiling water and it'll kind of turn back into liquid. Honey does not go rancid, it doesn't go bad, as long as you have real honey. This is real honey, it's got pollen in the bottom. Don't get the stuff that's in the little bear that says honey. Get your locally grown honey, because that'll help with allergies and asthma and things like that. You want it to be dark, you want it to have the pollen in there, and you really want it to be unfiltered, because that keeps all the good stuff in there, and it won't go bad. Preserves, your jams, some of your jellies, a lot of them will last quite a while, especially ones that you do yourself. Over 25 years if you know how to preserve them. And it's got fruit in there, it's got sugars in there, so quick pick me up, quick energy. And I mean, if you're in a situation where power's been out, a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich or jam on toast is a pretty good kind of motivator. It makes you feel a lot better. You definitely want them in a glass jar that's vacuum sealed, because that'll keep a lot longer. I don't know if this has a date on it. This is HEB brand and Best Buy 2020, so next year. So that's something to keep in mind. If you learn how to do it yourself, then they'll keep for even longer. Just be mindful of any additives, preservatives, everything else inside of your store-bought stuff. Peanut butter is another thing. Peanut butter will keep usually up to 5 years, depending on what's in it. You want to buy stuff that doesn't have a whole lot of additives and preservatives and stuff. Just natural peanut butter with maybe some, it can have sugar in it. That might affect the lifetime of it. But straight peanut butter with peanut oil in it is, I mean, it'll stick around for a long time. Of course, peanuts have protein, and it's, again, another good pick-me-up food. Molasses. This is molasses that we bought when we lived in Tennessee. Molasses is basically part of a product when you're making sugar. It's a sweet syrup. It's good for sore throat and things like that, especially the blackstrap molasses that's got all the kind of nutrients and stuff in it, and it can be used to cook with, bake with, whatever. But this will keep for quite a while, just like the honey will. This is a pretty big jar. I mean, it took 2 years for us to get it through a similar jar this size, just using it quite often, taking it internally and stuff. So, beef jerky is another thing that goes on people's list. This kind of store-bought beef jerky, this one right here is good for, from today, a year and a half. Yeah, year and a half. So, I mean, it's meat. If you get stuff that's all natural, grass-fed, with all the good stuff in it, then it's a good storable food, a good snack to have on the go when you're walking around, or if you have to bug out, stick in your bug out bag. But you can also do your own beef jerky. That's something that I haven't learned yet, and I've heard it's not too bad, but it's something that I plan on learning with you guys and then showing as I learn. So again, beef jerky, it's dried meat. Some of it's good for you, some of it has a whole bunch of garbage in it, so be careful what you buy. Try to buy all natural, organic, grass-fed, and then you'll have something that you can stick on your shelf for a while, especially if it's vacuum packed and vacuum sealed and everything. So ramen noodles and things like that, besides being a little bit of calories and then some flavor, I really would not invest very much. I mean, they're 25 cents, they're 10 cents, they're pretty cheap, but I wouldn't invest in these at all. They're not good for you. They don't have anything that your body really needs. I mean, just this ingredients list is a paragraph long, and stuff like that we shouldn't be putting in our bodies. If you want to make your own noodles and then dehydrate them or freeze dry them, then that's fine. That's a whole different story. Yeah, it takes more work, but you got to think about staying healthy when everything else is gone crap. So, I mean, if you want to throw a couple of these in your kit, just for you need something to fill your belly, I guess that'd be okay. But really, don't stock up. Don't fill a closet full of your ramen noodles and stuff, because you're just gonna get sick. You're not gonna get the nutrients and the vitamins that your body needs to survive, to thrive. So don't worry so much about that stuff. Again, sorry for the cut. Get your canned food, the things that have the food that you need to live, to thrive. Like I said again, don't buy things that you're not going to eat or your family doesn't eat. Buy things that everyone can eat, everyone will enjoy. and that'll just make going through a crisis that much easier. I'll put the link again in the description to the Dare to Prepare book. It's a very good resource for figuring out date codes and manufacturing codes and things like that. I'll also put a link to some Mountain House food down in the description, and some other products that I think might be useful to you in the food category. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. You can reach me on Facebook or Instagram or right here on YouTube, and I'll answer any questions that you have. And like I said, I'm more than happy to interact with anyone that wants to talk to me or comment or whatever. So stick around in the future for more preparedness videos and bushcraft videos and everything else. And please, come join me outdoors.